be joining us. Hopefully she hopped off and hopefully she'll come back on. Thank you everybody for joining us today. Sorry for a couple glitches there. We have our first back to basics kind of 30-minute trainings today. So we really wanted to design these programs to help you kind of get started in certain areas that maybe you haven't spent a lot of time in. They're going to be fairly basic, but if you have suggestions for deeper dives into subjects, please feel free to email myself, Livia, or William on the training team, and we'll discuss it and see what we can do to, help you take deeper dives into certain areas of our business. So on that note, I just wanted to kind of get started again. Anne Barnett is going to be joining us. For those of you who don't know Anne or haven't had the privilege to work with Anne, she is part of Team Twin City, and she's really here to help us grow our business insurance and help you submit great applications and get things moving as quick as possible for you in regards to business insurance. So I think all of you know who I am. This is William. I think most of you know who William is as well. So we're here today. What I'm planning to do today, and I won't feel bad if this is a little basic for some of you, feel free to jump in and or jump off if you need to. Totally up to you. So we'll keep it casual. But my thought today is I'm just really going to go through each one of these buttons on the business insurance platform. And in each one of these, there's certain areas that, in my experience, are kind of good to know, nice to knows, that we'll take a little deeper dive into each area. So I'm going to start at the top. So when we go into quoting and policy processing and you click on that button, it brings us to this great screen eventually that has lots of different information, kind of a good go-to screen. But this is where you're going to actually start your quote, okay? So here's where you create a new quote. Here's where all the policy tools are. So if you need to get a certificate of insurance, generate loss runs, update e-signatures, policy cancellations, documents, all kinds of things necessary for policy tools. And then you would just click on that to start your quote. Sorry, I wanted to go back. I'm meeting some people. Oh,
there we go.
My screen's super slow. So again, some other areas here, you have an appetite search. So a couple different areas where you can search for appetite. Here is informational tools. So help to have you navigate through doing a quote. And then here are some other areas here that might be important. So endorsement activity, for example, if you had to add a COI, something like that. So lots of great information there. Getting back to.
That's always just a little slow with.
Sorry, you guys, it's a little slow.
Share your screen.
Then if we go to help, menu, chat, and contacts, another great button here that has tons of information for you, but a really good quick go-to. So here you'll find links to sales and marketing. So this is where you can find marketing material for business insurance, information to locate leads, determine target markets, and so on. And then here's training. I'm going to get back to this page in a little bit towards the end of the program, but this is a great quick link to the University of Farmers Business Insurance Training. And then everything you would need to know for commercial billing. So commercial billing landing pages here, and then servicing, and also underwriting. So another great area here, just to kind of quick get some links going when you're servicing and selling business insurance. And then the product appetite guide, I'm going to get to this in a second, but if you haven't gone into this new button, appetite search, it's pretty amazing. Remember, we used to have to go to Ask Service Ops to look for a quick appetite. And now we actually have our own business insurance landing page. You can quickly search. So say it's commercial auto, or let's see, landscaper. So here's everything that you could quick look up for landscaping, architectural services, and so on. So really, really nice, useful tool. So say somebody calls and they're like, oh, I'm looking for insurance on this, and you're not sure if it's in our appetite. This is a really good area. You could even pin this if you wanted to for a quick appetite search. And if you haven't had a chance to go into the new product appetite guide, I'm going to go there next and spend a little bit of time because it's pretty amazing appetite guide. I don't know if Anne would agree or not, but I think it's one of the best appetite guides we've ever produced. And it's 36 pages. So what's so nice about it is there's an appetite indication with all of our appetites. So yes, we're good to go ahead and proceed. Let's do this. Let's make this happen. No is just not eligible. However, no doesn't necessarily mean stop. So you can do a little deeper dive. Maybe it's a Craft Lake opportunity. And then there's a maybe. So here are all of the quick access in our appetite guide, from artists and contractors to ASR, HABs, value added options, marketing support overview. So much information here. Again, if you're looking to write business insurance, I would put this right on your desktop so you quick take a look at it. But what I like about it is it has the artist and contractor coverage highlights for each appetite. So what's included and what optional coverages are there. And then here we have everything in artist and contractor, from carpentry work all the way to carpet and upholstery. You can see here all of the green, there's red, yellow, and so it's a really, really nice guide to get you going to find out what can I write. So interior decorators, you can write a full BOP. There's no GL. You can do property only, auto, work comp, umbrella. So a great, great tool to get started in the appetite guide. And then if we go to sales and marketing, I wanted to spend a little bit of time here as well. So here's our sales and marketing landing page. A couple areas that I think are super helpful is, one is our marketing support page. If you haven't looked here, the marketing support page gives you some product visuals in different appetites. So for example, here is our artists and contractors. There's a product visual and coverage summaries. So really nice if, say, you're going to go out and meet with an artist and contractor, you could print some of these tools. Here's a monoline GL, ASR, here's the product visual. So here's just a really nice marketing piece. Again, say you're going to go work with somebody and have a meeting with an owner. You can come in here and prepare for your meeting and find the tools necessary to feel confident about that meeting that you're going to go to. Or if you're going to go out and do some marketing to some of these businesses put some things together and get yourself prepared to go hit the streets and do some door-to-door marketing. Go back to sales and marketing. Again, that was sales and marketing, and that's the marketing support page. Another area here that I think is really helpful if you're just starting to get going and you're trying to choose the SIC codes that you might want to market to are the sales kits. Farmers Business Insurance has done a remarkable job with these sales kits where it's really going to teach you about that particular risk. So when you're walking in the door, you're talking to a plumber, you're talking to an electrician, that you have some historical knowledge of that particular industry. So again, if we open up the ASR sales kit, this is like, how did ASR get started? What's the history of it? So just really interesting information, some information about that particular industry, what they do, workers' comp, what are they at risk for, industry profiles, and so on. So I really, really love those sales kits. I think they're very, very helpful when you're, again, deciding on what SIC codes to start to target and you want to learn a little bit about that. I'll go back to sales and marketing. Show you another thing that's really great is right down here under lead sources is the Business Insurance Fast Pass. If you are unfamiliar with what Fast Pass is, these are risks that you can write, and if your application is all shored up nicely, which Ann's going to talk a little bit about actually doing an application, but these are Fast Pass eligible, meaning that within about 24 hours, once you submit the application, or almost immediately, you would get the okay back and you'd be ready to go ahead and bind the policy. So accounting offices, bakeries, clothing stores, florists. So if you're really targeting, say, getting to Toppers Club and you need 3 or 4 more policies to write, these Fast Pass eligible risks are really, really great for getting that done and getting yourself to Toppers or whatever target you might be trying to reach. Maybe it's reaching a prime score, or maybe you have a contest in your office or something like that. These Fast Pass eligible risks are really fun. And the other thing I wanted to talk about here on the marketing landing page also is your coverage compare tool. So when you go into the coverage compare tool, it really just talks about, actually this isn't the one I wanted to show. Sorry, I went to a different one. So I'm going to move on, and I think I'm going to see if we can get Ann on.
Can you guys hear me?
Yep,
Yes.
I can hear you, Ann.
Okay, so this is awkward. My volume is on my watch. My computer Teams is like not working properly, so I'm on my phone. So, hello everyone. So I'm Ann Barnett. I work with the district, so I partner with them.
Oh, hold on.
Okay.
Go to the teams. Because we just
Can
added.
you guys hear me now?
One second, Ann.
There's an echo. Here, mute one of them. Mute the top one.
Mute
No, no, Ann. She's got 2.
Yeah, I'm muting my.
Okay,
There we go.
there we go, Ann. We're good.
Okay. It's still on my watch. Maybe I muted on there. Can you guys hear me now?
To go through all of that.
Okay. I don't know why I'm hearing it from multiple places, but anyway. And it looks like I'm a little like, but I don't know if I log off on my phone, if it'll log off on the computer. It shouldn't, right?
No, it shouldn't.
Okay, I'm gonna do that. Okay, can you guys still hear me?
Yep.
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay. I don't normally have this many technology issues, but I don't use Microsoft Teams that often. So that is a little different for me. But anyway.
It's to me too, obviously.
Okay. So start over. I'm Ann Barnett. I partner with the district office and many other district offices, and I strictly do business insurance. Okay. So, Robin can share with you my information and how to get a hold of me. Okay. And so I work on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays. And again, I do anything commercial. So any question, no question is a silly question. You guys can reach out to me when you have a question, whether it be an appetite question, whether it be, hey, I did a quote, I want you to look at it because it fired some messages and I'm not sure what I need to tell underwriting, or I'm stuck on this screen, I don't know what to put in there, what to gather, any question. Okay, so I want to make sure that you have another resource besides, Robin and everybody at the district office, that you could also reach out to me with a question. Okay. So Robin asked me to talk about quoting, and so before I have her just switch over really quick to the dashboard page, I wanted to just note a couple of things as you figure out which SIC codes or which types of businesses that you want to start marketing to. Pick one or two and get really good at that one. Okay, that would be number one. Okay. It's finding something that you have an interest in and focusing on those. Make sure you have the appetite guide, like Robin said. Okay, the appetite guide, and then there's the appetite search, either one of them. And then make sure as you start researching these businesses, make sure you're going out and checking their Facebook page, their web page, so that you can understand a little bit more about that business, right? And then I also tell agents to go and check the Minnesota Secretary of State. So you have a lead, you get the opportunity to quote something, do your due diligence, right? Making sure you check the appetite guide, make sure you've checked them out on Facebook and on the internet, and go to the Minnesota Secretary of State to look them up so we have the right naming, okay, the right name. So once you know all of that, we're going to go into the quoting system. So Robin, if you want, you could go back to the dashboard page where those blue links were.
Mm-hmm.
And you're going to click on, so you can do quoting multiple ways. You could have someone in Apex and you could click on start a quote there and it will take you. You could go to the business page and you could start a quote there. So up at the top, it says quoting it. So you could start one there. You could start them from a lead you have in Apex. Okay. And then now, as Robin showed you the new appetite search, once you find that search, like for a barbershop there, they have a button that says start a quote. And when you do that, either way, if you go this way, you're going to have to go into the upper left-hand corner and there's a plus sign up there. Slide out and it says create a new quote. So you would create, so either way you go, Apex, appetite search, or this way, you will get to the business profile page. Okay. And from this page, it's where you begin to fill out some basic information. The name, again, that's why I say go to the Secretary of State so you make sure you have it correct. And anything with a little red dot, you must. Okay. So and then you fill out the basic information and then you go to continue, and that's where it's going to ask you the SIC code. So if you want, Robin, go out of here really quick, just so we can give an example of what it looks like. So here on your, go back, quoting and policy processing. Okay, so see the radio button under the word work list, it says your quotes and policies. So that's where all your quotes will show up. Next to it says quotes, underneath it says business profiles. Click on business profiles. So what that first screen, when you say create a quote, that's the business profile, and we'll just look at one really quick. So click on that BP, this one down here, just click on the BP 83675. So this is a business profile that another agent has done. And then if you look down here, they put in their name, they put in the expected revenue. So if you scroll down, you can see all of that information that they entered there. They picked an SIC code. Okay. So all of that gets kind of put in there initially. So that's the kind of information you'll need right off the bat. And then once you do that, so scroll back up a little bit where it says open quote policy, or yeah. So it'll give you a quote. So once you put that information in and say go, it's going to say, oh, look, you could quote this workers' compensation if you want, or a BOP or an auto. Okay. We don't want to actually go into this, and I don't think, because I don't think this has started it, but it will take you here to finish the quote. Okay. And just a little reminder, once you do your business profile, you can't change it, but you can change anything not to it in the quote. Okay. But I guess I want to just kind of finalize what I have to share is just making sure that you kind of set those best practices of checking all of those things. And when you go through the quote, please feel free to reach out to me if you get stuck or you need help, so that I can help make sure that we have it all in there right. Hopefully it comes back that it's approved by automated underwriter and doesn't need to go to an underwriter, and that we could bind it. We make sure I can help you make sure we got the best price, all of those types of things. Okay.
Awesome, Ann. I will be sending out multiple things to you guys after this training, and Ann's contact will be in there as well. One thing that I did find, Ann, that I thought was really helpful is, I hadn't seen it before, but it's seven underwriting guidelines for submitting an application. I'll send that out too. So it really talks, like you said, about making sure you do your research, you take pictures, if you can get to the prospect, have you met with them? And then also how to communicate with underwriters, which is kind of just one thing I'd like to close with. What is the best way to communicate with the underwriters? When I was reading it, it very much seemed like it was more chat. Can we still call our underwriters, or how does that best work?
So I guess, so when you get to the end of your quote, you're going to get that list of 7 things like reminders. Did you visit the customer? Did you take pictures, all that? And then you're going to submit for pricing. And on that screen, it's going to tell you whether or not it's approved or it needs to go to underwriting. Either way, there's a box down on the bottom and it says agent. Okay. That's where you, again, can do a little write-up. I call it a cover letter. It could be a paragraph. It could be 2 sentences about the risk. So if it needs to go to underwriting, it will fire other messages in little boxes. We need to put some comments, like answer the question. Okay. Maybe it's saying due to losses. So we would comment in there that, oh, this claim was a one-off, or this claim happened 3 years ago. They've made these changes so it doesn't happen again. We communicate via that way. And then when it goes to underwriting, they see those comments and they may send it back and ask you more, and they just keep adding things to the agent box. Okay. That is the best way. Now, of course, if you have a large account, then I would say you could email your underwriter, but most of the time they communicate by sending the quote back and asking you more questions, and then you send it back, the quote back and forth. Okay. And I guess that's probably the best way. I don't normally chat, because most of those people that are going to chat with you are not individuals that are going to be able to help you with that individual quote. Okay. When it comes to answering an underwriting question. And the underwriters, they're busy. So if you do need to send an email to an underwriter, I would give it at least 48 hours before we say, oh, I just did a quote. Can you look at it? You need to give them time to look at it. They normally have 3 days, but if you're doing these target classes, like Robin said, these fast passes, they're getting them back to you right away. Okay. But if you're not communicating via the system very well, and maybe they're not understanding, or maybe you want to ask some other questions, then you can email the underwriter directly. But I try not to if I don't have to. Okay.
Right. Thank you, Anne. Does anybody have any questions for Anne? I did want to show, right before we go, I just wanted to show you careeronestop.org for creating lists. But does anybody have any questions they want to ask Anne right now? You can unmute if you do. Otherwise, she's very accessible and we'll certainly get back to you if she misses your call as well. So thank you, Anne. Before we go, I know it's 10 o'clock. You might be asking, well, how do I find the risk that I want to target? Again, say it's auto service repair. This little website here, if you haven't spent time on it, careeronestop.org is a very useful tool for creating lists. So Chris Greep and I have worked on some lists together. I've sent some stuff off to Keith and that type of thing. But if you go to careeronestop.org, it's very easy. You just go to the toolkit here. You scroll down, you choose Business Finder. You put in your keyword, and I'm going to just choose auto service repair. And I'm going to choose Woodbury, and I'm going to search. So all of the auto service repair in this area, probably in about a 10-mile radius, you can do 50 per page, and you can download this list. Now you can only do 50 at a time or 50 a day. So you can come back in and create hundreds of lists, but getting started, this is a great way to start building out your X dates. And so that every single month as you move through your year and you're calling these places, getting X dates, hopefully you've got a handful of, target SIC codes that you can quote. So that's just a great way to get started. If you want to talk more about this or getting started, I'd be happy to help you. That's something that personally worked for me, was building up just a pipeline so that I consistently had commercial risks to go ahead. So with the target SIC code. So I think it's a great way to get started. I don't know, Anne, if you have any quick last minute get started helpful tips to share with the group.
Again, I would say number one, you just need to pick a lane and stay in that lane. So if it's auto service repair, pick that lane, stay in there, right? But you also want to make sure that's something that we have a good closing ratio for. So, and you just need to continue. You keep calling, you keep visiting, you keep mailing. That's really the best way to keep doing it. But I would say just focus on 1 or 2 SIC codes.
Yeah, I would agree. Perfect. Well, I'll follow up with an email with the link to careeronestop.org with a number of other documents, including Anne's contact information. And if you want to take a little deeper dive, Anne or I are certainly here to help you. So thanks for being patient. I know it was a little clunky getting started here on our first one, but we'll be doing these a couple times a month. If you have topics, again, that you'd like us to take a deeper dive, just let myself or my team know. So thank you so much, Anne, and thanks to those of you that joined us today.
We are farmers. Bum, ba, dum, bum, 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 bum.